Hi, my name is Ken Kiesler, and today I'll be demonstrating how to effectively scoot and position a patient in a wheelchair in a bed prior to and after a transfer. The importance of the skill is to ensure that the patient's center of mass gets over their base of support to make sure that during the transfer they're at their most effective position to complete it. Secondly, it minimizes the distance between the transfer surfaces. And lastly, it ensures that after a transfer, the patient gets back to a safe and comfortable position. Some considerations prior to performing the skill are to assess the patient's functioning level to determine the level of assistance that is needed. Second is to establish communication so that the patient is safe throughout the entire skill. And lastly, it is to make sure that you use proper body mechanics so that we ensure our own safety. Prior to completing the skill, you want to make sure that the wheelchair is locked, the patient's feet are out of the foot plates and flat on the floor, and that the foot plates are out of the way of the wheelchair. Next, you want to make sure that the patient has a gait belt on that is secure and fastened. And finally, you want to make sure that the area around the wheelchair is clear. First, I'm going to demonstrate how to perform a unilateral scoot to the front of a wheelchair. To perform this skill, you're going to place one arm around the patient's shoulder and the other arm under the patient's opposite thigh. First, you're going to have the patient lean into the arm that you are supporting on their shoulder and take the weight off of their leg that you're supporting. Then you're going to effectively scoot the patient's leg that's off the wheelchair forward and place him back on the wheelchair. Then you're going to do the same skill on the other side. So Justin, is it okay if I touch you?
Yes.
We're going to... Alright Justin, I'm going to go ahead and bring you to the front of the wheelchair, is that okay?
Yes.
Alright, so I'm going to place my left hand around your shoulders and my right hand on your opposite thigh, is that alright?
Yep.
Alright. So go ahead and lean to the right. I'm going to go ahead and scoot this leg forward and place it on the ground. Is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, we're going to do the same thing on this side now. Go ahead and lean to your left.
Okay.
Scoot this side forward, place it on the ground.
Got it.
Was that okay?
Yep.
Alright, you would continue doing those steps, alternating sides until they're at the front of the wheelchair. Now, once they're in the front of the wheelchair, you do the same thing except scoot them backwards. So go ahead and lean to your left. I'm going to go ahead and scoot you back. Go ahead and lean to your right. Scoot you back. Is that okay?
Yep.
Now I'm going to demonstrate how to perform a bilateral pelvic slide to the front of the wheelchair. For this skill, the patient will lean forward, and then they will drive force through their arms to the wheelchair and feet through the floor, and you'll help guide their hips forward to the front of the wheelchair. So Justin, is it okay if I help position you to the front of the wheelchair?
Yes.
Alright, what I'm going to need you to do is place both arms, or hands on the arms of the wheelchair.
Okay.
Keep your feet flat on the floor. Now, is it okay if I touch you?
Yep.
Alright, go ahead and lean forward. On the count of 3, drive the force through your arms and your legs. 1, 2, 3. You okay?
Yep.
Alright, now once they're in the front of the wheelchair, I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing, but help guide them to the back of the wheelchair. So go ahead and lean forward again.
Alrighty.
Drive your force through your arms and your legs on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Are you okay?
Yep.
Alright. Now I'm going to demonstrate how to do a unilateral scoot on a bed to bring the patient to the front of the bed. It's the exact same steps as the wheelchair, just on a bed now. So Justin, I'm going to go ahead and bring you to the edge of the bed. Is that okay?
Yep.
Alright, I'm going to place my right arm around your shoulders and my left arm on your opposite thigh. Is that okay?
Yep.
Alright. So go ahead and lean to your left. I'm going to go ahead and scoot you up forward this way. Is that okay?
Yep.
You're going to keep alternating sides until the patient is at the edge of the bed. Once the patient is at the edge of the bed, you're going to want to now bring them to the middle of the bed. It's going to be, again, the same steps as in a wheelchair, however, this time on a bed. So Justin, I'm going to go ahead and bring you back to the middle of the bed. Is that okay?
Yes.
I'm going to place my arm around your shoulder and my other arm around your thigh. Is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Go ahead and lean to your left. I'm going to guide this thigh backwards. Is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
Again, you'll repeat those steps on alternating sides until the patient is in the middle of the bed. Lastly, I'm going to demonstrate how to do a bilateral pelvic slide on to the edge of the bed and then back into the middle of the bed. Again, this will be very similar to that of a wheelchair, except it is important to tell the patient that this time they're pushing off the bed and not the handles that they were pushing off of on a wheelchair. So Justin, I'm going to go ahead and bring you to the edge of the bed. Is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right, what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to grab the gait belt, and then you're going to lean forward, and on a count of 3, you're going to use your hands to push off the side of the bed, and I'm going to guide you forward. Is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so go ahead and place your hands at your side.
Okay.
And on the count of 3, go ahead and drive the force through your hands and your feet. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Good. Is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm going to do the same thing, but this time we're going to be going backwards. So the same thing on the count of 3, push through your arms and legs. I'm going to guide you backwards. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Is that okay?
Yep.
Just to recap, today I showed how to do 2 methods of scooting in a wheelchair and on a bed, one being unilateral pelvic scoot and the other being a bilateral pelvic scoot to get the patient to the edge of a wheelchair and the edge of a bed and then from the edge of a wheelchair or the edge of the bed back to the back of a wheelchair or to the middle of the bed.